Oh yeah, and I get the one with the butt
Everybody
sticking
ready?
out.
The plumber. Hello guys, welcome back to Strange Company, and we are here today with, introduce yourself.
My name is Ty West. I'm from Ty West Videos. I've been doing videos, fetish videos for about 15 years. Actually, I haven't done it for the last 4 years. I've not been doing it. I've been doing it back to my photography.
And so specifically, who are these gentlemen that we have here today?
Well, the fetish that I was working in is the Giantess Fetish.
So what's a giantess?
Giantess is, and we're not talking about King Kong size women. We're talking about gorgeous women that are large giantess. And the fetish itself is very widespread as far as the range of size, what the fans like. Some like size like this, which is 1/6 size.
So this is a sixth of a human being?
1/6, yeah.
Okay, now are these like Barbie dolls? Is that what I'm holding?
These are not Barbie dolls.
Okay.
These are not dolls at all, because for the main reason as Ty West Videos does not play with dolls. Action figures.
And the idea is that men love the idea of, well, a lot of them love being crushed or eaten, but like the idea is, right, living in a world where the girl is bigger or you're smaller.
Either
one, the Godzilla woman or the shrunken man.
The fetish itself is a very complex fetish. It's
So is it that the woman is giant or that the man is tiny?
either.
It can go either way.
Either way.
Because I've seen Godzilla women.
Yeah.
In some pictures.
Either way. Well, when I said that, I didn't mean monster type women.
Right.
I meant gorgeous Playboy.
Beautiful Amazonian women.
Yes.
Domineering.
Yes, and they're all sizes. Depends on what fan you're talking to, and they love all different sizes.
Now, how long have you done this specific fetish work?
I had been doing it for about 15 years. I went through working with the dolls. Action figures.
Working with the action figures.
Working with the action figures for about for the first few years, and the fan base, they changed from what they like, and then we went to green screen work, which is really a difficult thing to do. Time consuming. As opposed to working with the action figures, I can make a video in 1 or 2 days. Green screen would take me 1 or 2 months. So
you stopped doing that, and then you kept these little guys kind of around just because you
stored
had
away.
them?
They were put away, stored away. So then I went back to my photography, and all the ladies that would come to shoot, they knew that I did that type of work because you can see it up here on the walls, and they knew my name, and they wanted to shoot with the action figures.
So you started to do that.
So now they're here in the room.
Now, what is the ability for a woman to do when she comes in and wants to shoot with these little characters here? What would one woman do as she walks in and is like, I want to play with these? What would a giantess do taking on that role?
Well, it all depends. Is she a gentle giantess? Is she a very dominant giantess? And I've got both extremes right
We
here.
obviously don't know which one Alex is.
The cruel, the mean giantess, the very powerful. The basis of the fetish is power and domination.
Now, so I want to hear. Amber had tagged something on a social media just once. Both her and I have only very, very vaguely put out there that we have done these shoots, because mostly I think that we haven't necessarily decided to call ourselves giantess yet, but certainly we've hashtagged giantess to a picture. And by doing that, we have received floods of very, very, very strange requests or questions, proposed circumstances.
Everyone who has ever reached out to me from that fetish standpoint has all been very polite and respectful.
They always
just
told me
really
like a
want
goddess.
to tell me what their fantasies are.
And the reason
They
the reason for that is because the giantess fetish is kind of like the foot fetish. You're not going to stand on the street corner and yell out that I have this particular fetish. So most of them are generally very polite in when they're requesting something from you. And they generally don't know if it's okay to request something from
They're
you.
always like, can I tell you what I like about a giantess?
Sure, yeah.
And I'll be like, sure, I want to hear this. And they talk about big cities, and they talk about how it came from childhood. Usually, most of the stories come from childhood, it seems like, from a very innocent place.
You know, it's a very, like I said, it's very complex. It can start from maybe ages of 6 to 9 when you're that small. Maybe you're a little boy playing with your army men on the floor, and you have an 18-year-old big sister that's going out on a date. So she's all dressed up, high heels and everything, comes downstairs. You're playing with your toys, and what does she do? She steps on all your little men. Boom, she created a little giantess fan right there.
Yeah, she evolved a story he had like never considered before, and that is that you can have so much of a woman.
Right.
And that's another aspect.
An endless woman.
Oh, it is.
I've had them ask me, like, what would you do if you could be the size that a giantess is? Like, the what ifs. Like, well, what would you do if you could be so big? And, you know, I like to, like, joke that, well, then men would be very much less in the way of things. Like, we would be able to get rid of you much faster. And then it kind of, like, they kind of brush that, like, hysterical, sarcastic comment back to them, and then they'll say, no, but really, like, what would you do to me if I was a small man? Like, would you want me to be an ant-man? Ant-Man? One of the things you showed me when I came to take photographs with you was the fact that you had started to edit their faces to look at, like, their exes. And I just thought, my God, this is so good. I can't let women not know of this. Like, they do stuff like feed a earthworm to a meerkat and name it after your ex, but like, this is so much better. Like, you literally can find one that kind of has the body, and then he makes the face your ex.
We generally take a little guy like this and we'll put him on the floor and we'll turn his face so I can see him when I take the photograph. And she'll step on him with her bare feet, smash him, and then I'll put the ex's face on the doll.
Yes.
It's
And
like the gift that keeps giving.
so much goodness. And you can do anything. You can superimpose anybody's face on there.
Pretty much.
Donald
yeah.
Trump.
Pretty much.
Well, we would have to have a body more like his.
The thing I love about this is that there's just like
Buff
endless
bodies.
imagination. Like you can do anything.
And so this one here, what's so special about this doll? This one as opposed to the other
I
ones?
don't know if you saw me already.
Look
dressing him,
first look at
but-
his chest muscles. Like, look at this body this one has.
And I can also tell you that none of the other action figures like him.
Yeah, because
He's all by
rude.
himself.
He's super built.
I feel like
He has a
like,
chastity
very
belt
detailed-
on.
The Giantess fans will recognize him. Will know who he is.
Look at look at that. That is a fully fledged, very large wiener on that one. Faux wiener.
Do we have to censor that for YouTube?
I don't think so. You can say wiener on
If you
YouTube.
try to button it up, it like hits his belly button. Like tuck it down. I'm not used to having to tuck.
Now we had several of these because they're so hard to get dressed or undressed. So we had so many in various stages of dress.
And they just remained that way
And we, you know, in the fetish business, in any kind of video business, we know that sex sells. So that's why we started this, and I think I was probably one of the first. A lot of people use him now, but I think I was one of the first that used him the way that I did because I modified him. I'm a technician, electronic technician by trade, and so I fixed him so he is not only anatomically correct, he's fully functional.
What does that mean?
And what does that mean? That means you don't want to be looking straight at him when he reaches climax.
What?
Because he will squirt
Shut
all
up.
over the place.
No! How? I'm gonna look at it again. You're lying.
I am not lying. I can go get the one that is set up for that.
Oh, this one's not? Okay.
No, this one is not.
Okay.
The other one is completely nude, and he's got a little tube sticking down all the way through his
my
penis.
Lord.
Wow, that is very
So
that's very
water is
intricate.
so
That was a
much
lot of
work.
thought you put into
And
the specifics
even now that I haven't made a new video in probably 4 years, I still get requests for me to
for
use
him,
Yeah,
for the buff guy.
yeah.
I can see why.
And these guys don't like him because they are not packing heat at all.
Now, is this proportional to like what a human body would do?
Well, the
Flail.
reason why I got these action figures is because they have like 39 points of articulation, so they can bend all as you can bend. But typically, what I would do when I use them, and the woman would hold on to them like you are, I would say, no, you got to hold him as if he was real, and put his little hands here, straighten his feet because normally your feet aren't bent backwards, and then I would put his hands here, and then he'd be looking at you. Yeah.
Stop looking at me.
And this is something that I did that other people that made these types of videos didn't do. And, you know, they would let the girl hold them like this. And what's that? Yeah.
Not a real hold.
No,
Not like you're holding a real man,
No.
clearly.
no.
So what do you think it speaks to? More the fetish community or what you've been doing? Do you think it's feminist?
I would say feminist somewhat because it's the basis of this fetish is power and domination. So this gives you complete control and domination over the ex. So doing whatever it is you want. Was he fighting me?
Did someone, no? Did someone bite you?
I thought he was.
Maybe.
his wiener's
out of control.
He has such a big bulge, like from the side. I don't know if you could see that, but that's like at least a foot for a real man. What would you say is one of your weirdest experiences so far within the fetish community?
Oh, wow. That's a big one.
Is that just because you've seen so many weird things?
Yeah. FetishCon, I had gone to probably almost 10 years in a row since 2007. And there was fetishes that I had never even heard of when I went there.
Like what?
Oh, God.
What's the one that stopped you in your tracks? What's the one that's on the tip of your tongue?
The latex was all really cool, but then they had a lot of people that wore horse character costumes, and they had butt plugs and for tails, and they were being led by a leash and whipped, go faster. And that wasn't even the strangest one. Okay, the strangest one. I know what it is.
All right, what is it?
Because I know this one was strange to everybody else that was there. The diaper fetish.
Diaper fetish.
Diaper fetish. That's when a grown
Now-
man wants to wear a diaper, wants to poop in his diaper, wants to be cleaned after he goes poop in the diaper. It's just and carries a little
They
teddy
have
bear.
like whole vendors at Folsom where you can buy your adult diapers in various sizes and various colors.
We have an adult baby in Reading.
Yeah.
We do, and I'm getting excited because I'm hoping if you're out there and you hear me, I forget what his name is. But if you are out there and you have a diaper fetish, we want to hear from you. We want to hear about all the fetishes, all the weirdest stuff. Do it. Because this one happened to be such a good end story. It was a weird fetish to begin with, and then we came and we smashed little men and made ourselves feel super empowered. And did you leave feeling at least hysterical about the whole situation when you came and did your shoot with him?
I loved it because I got to explore and play and it be really innocent, and you have endless opportunities. And yes, I identify as a gentle giant.
She's a gentle
Giantess.
Giantess, yes.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I think it's sweet to I don't know, I'm naturally submissive. I don't have to dominate to prove anything.
She read them books earlier for the photo shoot. I said, well, you have to wrap them in a swaddle and then also bring them and nurture them in the pockets of your arms.
Now that,
Okay, but I think about how sweet it would be to just love a man and be able to stick them in your pocket and be able to
They're
take
not
them anywhere
babies.
and take them out and be able to love them anytime. That's why I'm all about it.
But you want them to be small.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Like a
then I
puppy.
can take them anywhere. They're
Like a
just
puppy.
Now,
not.
is that a fetish of yours?
It's developing apparently. I'm enjoying it a lot.
since she
I
came
think
the first
about
time she
it.
came here.
I just didn't realize I had to be nice to them.
I like the Giantess community. When you were saying earlier about how nice they are, how they're kind of just kind.
They're more
They're very
storytellers.
respectful and
They want to
storytellers.
be seen. They want to be known and heard and understood. And I think that partaking in it as somebody who doesn't share that fetish is helping to bring sex positivity to it. And I don't know. I know what it's like to be into things that other people are not. I am that person with the foot fetish, and I know what it's like to say that in a room, And so it is harmless. The most harmless fetish that you can have is a foot fetish.
But what
And
about
yet
gross
it's the most
feet?
shamed, right?
What about gross feet?
Well, I don't have sex with anything gross.
Well, there is
You
a
have
know?
sex with feet?
there is a fetish for that. There is a fetish for that. It depends on the thing.
It's another interview for another time.
There is online. There is a Giantess community. It's called Giantess City. It's been around for a while. I don't know. I haven't looked on it lately, so I don't know. But that is a hub for all of them to gather.
Well, if you have any idea of any more bizarre fetishes, I'm talking the weirdest of the weird, put them below. Let us know. Let us know. Because feet is apparently not weird.
No, it's a common
Giantess is
fetish.
not weird. I enjoy being called giantess. I enjoy men saying they want to worship me. I will not say that I don't. I was asking earlier, is there small women dolls where men are the giants and the women are the small things?
There are, but it's a very small group.
And is that because the men want to be giants, or is it because the women want the idea of being small?
And are there gay giantess? Like, is there an LGBTQ
There is.
community?
There
What would you
branch
call the
of-
one that wanted to be cuckolded and put it in a condom where the man jizzes and he sinks or swims?
I was not going to talk about it. Couple and being
Subscribe
put
if
in a
you know what's
condom
good
and
for
have
you.
him blow his giant load. Oh, I was like avoiding that one.
I know you were.
There are some extreme ideas to the fetish. There's one fan that I have that wants to be 2 inches tall, no bigger, no smaller, wants to be stepped on by you, barefoot, 1,000 times a day, and every time you smash him, he comes back normal, fresh as good as can be. And his fantasy, his fetish, is for him to come back and you do that over and over and over again.
Just be stepped on all day long.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I guess that in some perfect world for that man,
There's so many women for that man.
there are so many women.
There's so many women that want to walk all over you. It's okay.
And with that, we'll say thank you guys for coming and watching us. We love you guys. Please subscribe. Please smash that like button. And thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye. Bye-bye. Kisses and hugs. Subscribe if you know what's good for you.
This is where it gets a little graphic, and are we going there?
Yes, do it all.